BYOT. Bring your own tacos.
Dick swinging.
You're listening to American Slacker Podcast.
We can say fuck.
With Matthew Gertz and Jesse Landers.
I don't care, I've been smoking, this is cool.
That's a decent amount of sausage.
This man needs a doctor!
Yeah, I just hope they're tasty.
What's up with these clowns, man?
Cut the lights and went through people's pockets.
Don't you point that at each other.
Let them smoke a little. You need to step it up to that point. We're not gonna lead with the.
We're not gonna lead with
Well, I have to say it was great to see you over the Thanksgiving holiday.
Ah, thanks, man. Yeah, it was great to see you too, man, along with quite a few of our buddies. A lot of us haven't been together in the same room for a long time, so it was nice to get everybody together. Yeah, so it was fucking awesome.
I got to chill, got to see, I had 2 Thanksgivings and 1 pre-Thanksgiving meal, so I was eating good while I was home.
Yeah, see, that's the best part about visiting home, man. Getting all that food, especially around Thanksgiving, going hard.
Oh, hell yeah. I wish I could bring more of it back on the plane with me, but I was about to just shove that kind of shit in my luggage.
TSA is just going to be running their fucking hands through your mashed potatoes.
It's this is all cranberry sauce. We're keeping the leftovers. Go get to your flight. Man. So yeah, no, my flights went fine though. It was good. I got back on time and all that. No issue. Good. I'm hoping everyone had a good Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah, safe and sound. Especially if you did a little Black Friday shopping after
Thanksgiving. It can get dangerous out there. So, we have a little bit of important shit that we should throw out to you guys, and it's net neutrality. I'm sure you've heard a lot about it. There's a vote going on December 14th. We just wanted to do our part as a small media branch, I guess, to put some of the information out there for you, because it can kind of get confusing. I have an article that I'm going to read part of, and we'll be putting this up on our Facebook group so that you can all check it out. Basically, net neutrality, without it, internet service providers will be able to charge companies for fast lanes, which they can't do right now. Smaller companies and individuals' websites could be slowed down to render them almost unusable. The biggest service providers like Netflix, Google, and Amazon will have enough money to pay for these fast lanes, but the smaller companies and consumers aren't going to see any benefit from this. It's just going to make consumers' rates go up. So we want to make sure that net neutrality stays and that the FCC doesn't get rid of this. And a way to support that, you can go to battleforthenet.com. They'll help you send out an email to your congressperson. So we'll post that up as well.
Awesome. Everybody can do their part. Well, let's step into the show. Welcome to American Slacker Podcast. As always, I'm Matt.
And I'm Jesse. We're here to help you through the rest of this year, the rest of this holiday season. And remember, along with your gift list that you have to finish buying, to also check and make sure that you're still subscribed to us. Because we're changing our posting and hosting and all that kind of behind-the-scenes shit in December. So we're hoping nothing happens and it all goes smoothly. But if we vanish from your feed, search whatever podcast app you use. Just search Slacker. We'll come up. Make sure you're subscribed.
And speaking of slackers, I think we have a few to thank.
Oh yeah, we got our official American Slacker Patreon supporters. We'd like to thank Dave Gunn, Kyle Nolan Bradford from the Crime Roulette podcast, and Aaron W. from the Yes and I Am podcast. You're all very dear to our hearts for the support that you give the show, and we appreciate it. That's why we give you those awesome shout-outs at the top.
Yeah, thanks guys. We really appreciate your support. And if anybody wants to help us out, check out our Patreon. You can help support the show like these lovely guys.
Yeah, another cool thing that we do here at the top of the show, we have our pod shout out of the week. Now the way this works, we post a tweet up on our Twitter account, and if any podcast retweets it, they're essentially entered into a lottery where they could win this shout out. So we have a couple rules though. You can't win 2 weeks in a row, and this week we've had 2 people retweet, or 2 podcasts retweet. One of them was the winner from last week, the Stranger Than podcast. The one this week is called Pops On, and they're at No Dad Jokes. And that's jokes with a Z.
Okay.
Their description says, "Welcome to #Pops On. This is a podcast about a father's take on entertainment and on the entertainment industry. Movies, music, television, and fatherhood. Hosted by Jay and Raul." And they're out of Florida, it looks like.
That sounds like an interesting
Yeah,
show.
so definitely check them out. Follow them on Twitter at No Dad Jokes with a Z. Jokes. And that's the Pops On podcast. So congrats, guys. You won the pod shout out of the week. So what do we got coming up for the rest of the show, Matt?
Well, as always, we're going to start out with our bizarre news. And then we're going to talk a little tech. And then we'll finish it out with the Wheel of Weird. So stick around.
And with our weird news, we always like to start out with a little bit of weed news. And this time we're headed to Michigan, where they're passing around petitions to legalize recreational marijuana. More than 360,000 signatures are to be submitted to have this passed. And the proposal says that it would legalize marijuana use for adults 21 and older. Adults could possess up to 2.5 ounces of marijuana in public, 10 ounces at home, and anything more than 2.5 ounces must be stored and locked. And there's a couple other things that come along with the proposal, but it's basically, make it going full recreational for Michigan. Now, this hasn't, quite passed yet. This is just the petition that's going around to make sure that they have support to make it happen.
Yeah, to feel it out and get an idea if people are actually going to support it at all.
Yeah, and I mean, they only needed 252,000 and some odd votes, or signatures, and they got, way more than that. They got, an extra 100,000. Going the right direction. We applaud you, Michigan. And if anyone wants to read a little bit more into this, we're going to be posting this article up on our Facebook group on Mondays, as we do with all of our weed news. So you can check it out there.
Hell yeah. Well, our next story is involving Charles Manson. The Manson family, responsible for, I believe, 9 murders.
Something like that, yeah.
Back in the late 60s. It was crazy. Including that famous actress Sharon Tate. So it was pretty crazy.
And he recently passed away, right?
November 19th, Charles Manson passed away. Now what's crazy is that there's a battle going on for the rights to his body and his estate. Now mainly he doesn't have a property or anything, but he's worth a fortune in royalties to artwork and his music. He has released some a few albums.
Yep.
And one thing is, he actually wrote a song for the Beach Boys. It's kind of crazy. There's a lot of cool series out there. Check out on Charles Manson. Last podcast was where I learned that one. A little fun fact. But, so 3 people are actually trying to claim the rights to his body and all of the royalty bullshit. Because it's obviously a money grab.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people who, like you said, made art that was inspired by him or whatever, or people that wrote letters to him, or even letters that he might have wrote back. I could see those being worth a decent amount of, cash.
Oh, yeah, anything to do with this guy. I mean, all serial killers, and let alone a cult leader like him, have such a following. It's crazy. So many girls wanted to marry him.
Yeah.
But, so the 3 people have come forward. Jason Freeman, who is actually proven he's Manson's grandson, a blood relative. Wow. He wants to take possession of his cremains. And Michael Channels, a pen pal of Manson, who started writing him in the 90s and like grew attached with him, came forward with a will that was dated in February 14th, 2002, that leaves everything to Chandler.
Oh, wow. So he would have written that in prison.
Yeah, but here's the weird thing. A friend of Manson's, Ben Guricki, claims to have a will dated January 2017 that gives the estate and Manson's body to Matthew Roberts, who is a guy who he claims that his mother told him that Charles Manson is
his father,
his dad. But they did a test to see if he was related to Jason Freeman, the grandson, and there was no DNA link. So he wasn't Manson's son. But he's still fighting for it, regardless.
Well, that one's super fishy because it happened this year, and he died this year.
Yeah, and the weird thing is Matthew Roberts, the illegitimate son, we'll say, is the one that's all out in the media claiming that he wants the royalties and stuff, and he's hired an attorney, and he's already planning attacks after he gets like the rights to the estate. He's gonna take on record companies that have used his music without proper rights and all that. So he's not just going after like little people. Yeah, he's like trying to get as much money as he can.
What?
Using this guy's name.
So if murderers try and profit off their murders, they're assholes. But what about people who didn't even do the murders who try and profit off their murders?
Yeah, just clinging to it. Yeah, it's fucking craziness, man.
It's like.
So the wills have been turned in, and I guess we're just waiting on the verdict to see which will is going to be abided by. Mm-hmm. And then we'll see who gets the rights to Charlie Manson's image.
What did he have a house or something that went in the will?
No, there's no house. No
actual property.
No property at all. I mean, Charlie Manson was like on the edge all the time. He didn't really own much.
Yeah, kind of like a
he had vans and dune buggies and shit. He was crazy. But really, it comes into owning his image, which, it realistically is worth a fortune. His music does sell. You could sell out the music, and I'm sure tons of people would buy the albums from Manson. You could listen to them on YouTube. They're not bad.
Yeah, no, I've heard
Some of them
one
are
of
like,
his
what?
Songs. It's like something about your game girl.
Yeah, that was a good one. I know what you're talking about. It was pretty good.
It was like an acoustic.
It's a good
song.
melody.
It just goes to show you that some people should just like concentrate on certain hobbies instead of others.
Yeah. Who knows, man? If he had just continued.
Now I was expecting for some reason that he had like some because they always say like when a celebrity. I guess he's not really celebrity. He's kind of like anti-famous. When a celebrity dies, there's always like a house being broken into. Or something. Like, they're gonna like ransack like the fucking Michael Jackson estate or whatever.
Yeah, no. He literally had nothing. Just the rights. I mean, you might get his belongings from prison, but I couldn't imagine him owning much.
He's got this toothbrush.
And I couldn't find anything. I tried looking, man. I couldn't find any estate or anything like that.
Okay, at least they don't have to worry about break-ins like the guy in our next story. We're headed over to Siberia, where bears are breaking in and stealing firearms, which begs the question: do bears have the right to bear arms? See, they're born with bare arms, but can they bear arms? Because can a claw pull a trigger? That's all I want to know.
Can a bear bear arms?
Can a bear bear arms?
I don't know.
A bear has bare arms, so well. Basically, this guy, he was out hunting, and he came back and saw that this bear was in his cabin. He was like, I'm not fucking with that. So he waited it out, and eventually the bear left the cabin. But it didn't leave empty-clawed, because it had a bag, and it also had 2 rifles. One was like a carbine, I believe.
Okay. So like a semi-auto rifle.
Yeah, and I'm trying to see what the other one looks like. Some sort of just like standard, like it looks like a shotgun that kind of pulls apart the metal.
I think that is
it's
the
a shotgun with a
scope
like a double
on
barrel. It, though. It's a little odd.
Yeah. Put a slug in it, I guess.
If those are the actual
you have to arc 'em.
guns that they're showing in this article. In this SiberianTimes.com article.
Either way, I mean, it looks like a good amount of money and guns, and let alone what's in the duffel bag, bitch.
Yeah.
What do you got in that
I'm wondering
bag?
if he had some food in there or something. That's what he was going for.
Took his munchies and his guns.
Eh,
He just did that man wrong.
So there's a wild bear out in Siberia with a couple of loaded rifles that you might want to look out for if you're in that area. I don't know if we've gotten any downloads from that section of the world yet.
Be careful for bears bearing arms. They'll get you.
Yep.
Oh, I'd like to find. I know I'm not going to be able to find it, but the statistic of how many people have been shot by a bear. I'm sure it's happened once. Come on,
It's
circus.
yeah. I mean, the world has, or firearms have been around for a while, and bears have been around even longer. So it's bound to have happened.
Well, that was an undeserved break-in, but the story that we're gonna go to, I believe, it's kind of a deserved break-in. Now, in Southampton, Australia, a man smashed through a balcony wall and repeatedly attacked a neighbor with a plank of wood
Oh shit!
because they were playing music way too loud. And the song, I gotta say, if this was playing really loud, I might get a bit agitated too. They were playing Wake Me Up Before You Go by Wham.
What a classic.
Now, I guess the altercation came after he asked them to turn it off, but they turned it up.
Like a bunch of assholes.
He's hanging out at his girlfriend's flat, no less. It's not even his. And he just gets raged out and kicks down this separator on a balcony and notices a piece of wood that he busted and splintered off and picks it up and decides to strike the neighbor repeatedly in the arm and leaving him with a broken arm.
You gotta beat someone pretty hard with a plank. Well, I mean, he was probably defending himself. He put it up, and he cracked him.
And he just whacked it. Cracked him with it. Unfortunately, it really is a bad event for the neighbor. He gave a statement in court saying that his partner had to help feed him and put his socks on. And he used to work at a pub, but he cannot do his full duties.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. You can't carry, like, crates of, like, liquor with a fucking broken arm.
Yeah, and then he really pulled on the heartstrings. He goes, my arm aches for long periods, which it didn't used to do before. And my 5-year-old daughter doesn't understand why I sometimes can't do certain things. Because
you're an asshole and you wouldn't turn down the fucking music. Because you decided that was the hill you wanted to die on.
Well, that's the exact defense that his attorney gave. He said he was provoked, and indeed it would seem that instead of turning the music down, it was turned up. And it most certainly didn't help with the song being Wake Me Up Before You Go. And also, I mean, he sees the wood at the scene, so it was not premeditated or planned. So, you know, it's not really a hardcore violence act. He's trying to portray
he was trying to right a wrong. He saw that this guy was flipping him the middle finger. Like, what did they say? What time this happened at? Was it like mad late at night or early in the morning or something?
You know, out of all things, I didn't notice the time in the whole article.
I guess it doesn't really matter if your neighbor asks you politely to turn it down and you turn it up. Like, you're just being a dick. You're asking for a confrontation.
Regardless of what time. Yeah, if it's like 3 in the afternoon and you're doing this shit, it's kind of, you're crossing the line. And some people don't call the police. They handle shit by
themselves. Bust through the wall like the fucking Kool-Aid man and beat you with a fucking piece of wood till you break your arm. And then you can't explain to your daughter why you're such an asshole. Everyone's a dick in this story. Well, in our next story, the only person who was a dick was this Amazon Echo, who started a house party while its owners were away.
Fucking Echo. They're always listening.
Yeah, I actually just got one. I got the Echo Dot. Amazon was having a little Cyber Monday sale. I picked one up for $30. Now I have the NSA listen to me all the time, and not just when we're recording our podcast.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah. Maybe they can tell me what my girlfriend wants for Christmas. So
I'm still waiting on the few-month verdict of what you think of it.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued by the technology, but I feel like it's gonna listen to random shit.
It started talking earlier when
shit.
I was listening to watching a movie or something like that. I was just like, no one's talking to you right now. fucking
Just gonna get
calm
random
down.
fucking Amazon orders. You're gonna be like, what the
No,
fuck?
I made sure to turn that off. There's a feature where you like can voice order, and it's like you gotta enable it. So luckily, I won't won't have like fucking 30 pounds of Fruit Loops showing up because I'm like, man, I want Fruit Loops so bad, like so bad. And it's like ordering 30 boxes of Fruit Loops.
I saw a video where a kid ordered an Xbox
Oh, shit.
off of an Echo at his parents' account.
me an Echo,
It
or
came
give
in.
me
The
an
parents were
Xbox.
like, what the fuck? What the fuck is this?
That's ridiculous. That's an expensive purchase to end up having. Well, this guy with his Amazon Echo that was throwing a party, it decided to kick off like mad late at night, and the neighbors were banging on the fucking doors. It was like between 2 a.m. and like 3 a.m. And the neighbors thought there was someone in there, you know, like listening to the music. So they're like banging on the doors and stuff like that. Eventually, the cops come because like no one's answering, but this music's still blaring. The cops fucking break in, realize that this Amazon fucking Echo decided to just start playing music by itself, super late at night, and they
Oh my god.
they turned it off
All the way up.
Yeah, all the way up. It was it was loud enough,
All the way
enough that it disturbed the neighbors. Like they were about to break
Yo, it's
in
got
there
no chill.
and break the Amazon Echo's arm. It was that loud.
Oh shit.
So they unplugged it and had a locksmith come and fucking put a new doorknob on the door, and they ended up sending the bill and the new keys to the
Oh my
to the owner of
god.
the house.
So you had to pay for this Echo is bullshit.
Yep. And he's just like, I don't know what happened, man. Like I was just away for a couple days. This thing decided to throw a party, and now I have to pay for it. It's like having children, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta watch it.
Don't get
I
in
guess,
any
right?
trouble. You gotta
Keep an eye on
unplug
it.
that shit when you're leaving, I guess.
Alexa, you be good while I leave. I'll be back at 9.
You leave, and immediately it's like, order 30 kegs of beer. Send out 40 invites.
Invite whole email list.
Yeah, right. Oh my god, it could do it, and be like, oh
do
man,
Has
Bill's
all your shit.
Bill's having an awesome party, and it's like not Bill, it's Alexa throwing it.
And it's like, I'll be arriving late. Just walk in and get started partying.
Yep. Oh
Just
my
covers
god.
its ass.
Has beer delivered and everything. Yo,
God.
you could have your Echo throw a kick-ass party for you, and you could be somewhere else completely. It
Just
could
like
even
you're
order
across the country.
cleanups. Could even order cleanup services.
It
You don't even
could.
have to be there.
Oh, dude, it could. It's amazing. Technology is beautiful, man.
Technology is beautiful. Hopefully, it doesn't run people too many tickets though in the future.
I don't know, man. Technology's awesome, but technology in the wrong hands can be a little bit scary.
This is true.
Oh, and our next story proves that it's true. Mad Mike Hughes is a man that's planning to shoot himself into space in the Mojave Desert out of a rocket built out of an old RV, I believe. I believe
Oh,
most of this
like
is
an
crafted out of
Airstream?
an old RV. Yeah. So, and the surprising thing is that it's not the first time he's actually done this. He shot himself a quarter mile across the desert before pulling some makeshift parachutes to try to break the fall. And he didn't take the fall too good because he ended up in a walker for a few months.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Not enough.
But now
padding
he's-
in that Airstream trailer.
No, not at all. And the whole reason he's trying to shoot himself into space is because he doesn't believe in science and he's trying to prove that the Earth is flat.
Oh god.
Yeah. So he was scheduled to go out last week, but now he's had a few issues. Apparently the rocket had broken down in his driveway. So
Science
he's not-
got in the way.
Oh yeah. Well, that and the Bureau of Land Management, because they got wind of his plan and they barred him from using the public land, which was in Amboy,
shit.
California. They're like, fuck no, you're not launching some crazy rocket on public land where there's potentially other people. You could start a fire. God
Crash.
knows what else you're gonna
Blow
kill yourself.
up. We'd have to clean up your head. Smeared
So-
all over the fucking kids' playground.
He is not stopping though. He's he's apparently found some private land, and he's gonna launch that bitch right in the Mojave Desert, and that's the last we'll ever see of this guy. We'll never know.
Yeah, like what's the idea here? Is he planning on coming back down, just like going up to the upper atmosphere and like it'll break off and then he'll have a parachute to float down, or is he just winging it and he'll figure it out once he's up there?
His rocket, okay, I don't think it comes apart into pieces. It literally looks like a rocket, like a model rocket that you would launch up, you know, couple hundred feet in science class. But he's driving it like a jet. There's no way this motherfucker can land. There's no way. Unless he's got the parachute method. He thinks that's going to slow him down. Some cloth parachutes that he knitted in his basement.
It doesn't make much sense. If you really wanted to find out if the Earth was flat, you would either go to the North Pole or the South Pole and then just keep going.
Yeah.
And then, like, once you get to the spot you started at, you would know that the Earth wasn't flat. Or if you weren't convinced at that point and you're like, oh, maybe I, like, went around the inside ring and I have to go the other way. All right, go east to west, and then see where you end up, and you'll come back right to the same fucking spot.
As soon as they get to a coast, that's where the world ends, man. The water falls off out there. That's what. That or you go to the ice wall and it's guarded. There's an ice wall too. I believe that's like a flat Earth.
Yeah, theory. I've heard the ice wall theory too, but then it's like, all right, go there.
Yeah, we have the best climbers in the world. Come on,
cross over, buy some fucking snowmobiles. Get your ass to Antarctica, go all the way across that, come all the way back up, go to fucking the Arctic, and then make your way through that way and fucking make your way back down to where you started. Like this is how a circle or a sphere works.
There's no way that you need to get checked out if you're thinking flat Earth. I'm sorry, like the easiest experiment is go to a big lake and watch a boat go far out to the lake. Why does it go and disappear? Why does the bottom disappear? It's because the fucking Earth is a circle.
There's another podcast that I listen to called Oh No, Ross and Carrie, and they actually go and explore fringe science and stuff like that. And
that's cool.
They actually just finished up a flat earther convention once, so I suggest everyone check that out.
Yeah, I will be.
If they're more interested in how people along those lines think.
It's interesting. I mean, shit. Like, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. You know, don't get me wrong. I honestly, whatever. If you think the Earth is flat, that's cool. I can't prove it myself. I just know that people that I trust with science have told me it. You know?
I think you proved. I mean, the little experiments. Like,
the little experiments that I could do like that
and observe.
Yeah, that proves to me. You know, I don't know.
Well, you know, an experiment that I've never tried, that I'm probably never going to, is the one that the couple in our next story tried to pull off. They're trying to have sex in a car while having a baby in the back seat and driving down the highway. End result?
Oh my god.
Crashing into a tree.
Who saw it coming?
It could have gone so many different ways, you know?
I think that's the way this one was going to climax.
There could have been a drive-thru involved at some point if it went well.
No drive-thru employee needs to see that.
Right, but a couple.
You got a baby in there.
A couple in Washington State had sustained multiple injuries after crashing their car into a tree while having sex and driving. The man was drunk, and the woman was sitting on top of him, engaging in sexual activity while they navigated the local highway.
No wonder why he couldn't see over.
The man negotiated the curves, but couldn't fucking do it, and he struck his car right into a tree. And the woman broke her pelvis, and the man broke his wrist. Their 3-month-old child was properly restrained in a car seat and was uninjured. Thank goodness. What about the baby they were making? How was that? Was it alright? The man, if convicted, it will be his 4th DUI in Washington State, a felony offense. He's charged with vehicular assault and child endangerment. Because, can't be doing that. Cannot be doing that.
Oh, God. Broken pelvis. That's going to be the most
uncomfortable. It's always tempting on like a long ride or something like that. You get that thought in your head, and then you're like, no, I want to live and not fucking crash.
Yeah.
I blame
I don't know.
90s movies.
Yeah, there is a lot of that in 90s movies. God. It's a bad idea all the way around. There's plenty of other spots to be doing that kind of thing.
I think people take driving a little too lightly sometimes. I mean, I'm a pretty crazy driver, but in terms of just you're in a very large vehicle that you could fucking hit someone or injure yourself or whatever. You gotta like take it seriously and not have someone's like cooch sitting in your face or whatever they had going on that day.
I hope somebody's cooch isn't in the driver's face.
Hey man, that's why you can
definitely not
navigate
good.
the curves probably.
That's never gonna end up good.
You don't want to be distracted and have like shit in front of you when you're driving.
Yeah, it's never good to be distracted out there behind the wheel, and especially during this holiday season.
Yeah, the roads are bad and stuff. You got fucking trees strapped to the top of your car.
Oh, all over, man. The Northeast is just covered with motherfuckers with trees. We were talking about a story about a car in Massachusetts that you couldn't even see because the tree was so big on top. Well, while you're getting your Christmas tree this year, you might want to think about going the less traditional way. Because if you get a real tree, chances are it's probably full of bugs.
Oh, great.
I was looking into it, and most people in America, 99 million homes took part in a poll last year that was done by the American Christmas Tree Association. And actually 81% of people are using artificial trees. So there's only, a smaller percentage are getting real trees these days.
Dude, that's like what? That leaves what, like 19%, 20%?
Yeah.
Huh.
And I wonder if anybody even knows about this. Like, your tree could have as many as 25,000 bugs on it lurking around. And this is all coming from a pest control company called Safer Brand. And they're putting out a huge warning about it. Most common bugs, aphids, spiders, mites, and bark beetles.
Okay, those are ones I can deal with.
Well, yeah, that's the good news. They aren't dangerous and they will die. But either way, you don't want them transferring from the tree into your sofa and bugs all over. It's fucking gross. Let alone all the other negatives about a bad Christmas tree.
Be like, oh, this tree, you got a bad one. This one's full of bed bugs, black widows. You got a couple of centipedes in there. A couple of hornets' nests. It's like, I'm leaving
you got a discount.
This in.
This one has a hornet's nest.
Yeah, the ones with bees' nests are 10% off.
The company suggests if you do want to go the traditional route, get the real tree, cut it down, take it, leave it in a garage if you have one, or on a porch for a few days, and shake it out
on a neighbor's
bunch
porch
of times.
For a few days.
On a neighbor's porch. Bring it to somebody's house that you really aren't kind of, and
leave it in their driveway.
Just tell them hold on to it. But yeah, think about this when you're doing your decorating.
Yeah, I was talking about going out and getting the fucking tree tonight. I don't know if it'll happen. It might be tonight, might be tomorrow night, but yeah, we're supposed to get a real one. Well, now you got me thinking of this. Fucking me up with the bug talk, Matt.
Just get some lizards and stop at Tesco, get some lizards and put them as ornaments in the tree.
But then when the lizards start to breed, what do I do to get rid of the lizards?
You just put a big net around the tree, and they stay to the tree.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say like frogs, and then for the frogs you gotta get cats, and then for the cats you gotta get.
Well, no, the end game is you just let the net loose, and then your cats are having a good old time.
Okay, they would love.
You got two killers in the house. Maybe get a few more. Stop at the SPCA, get a few more cats, and start treating them to get real aggressive.
Nice. Gotta train them. They'd hunt the bugs. They'd fucking love it. So we're bringing you our funny clip of the week, and this one comes straight out of my nightmares, because when I walk into a place, I don't want to be noticed. I don't fucking know about you guys, but like I don't want people looking at me. That's the last thing I need, is like I open a door and everyone looks at you. You're like, fuck, what did I do? Did I come in the wrong door? Did I push through someone? Was there a fucking handicapped person behind me that I just pushed past? I don't even realize. In this case, this guy comes in, it's a glass door, and this must be the most brittle glass door I've ever fucking seen.
It looks pretty brittle, and the guy's reaction is point on how I would react. Like, it's just pure shock. Like, he doesn't know how to act. He's frozen in time.
It's one of those metal handles that goes like through the glass door, and he got a hold of it. So like when he breaks the door, he's still holding this handle. Like, oh no, I shattered the door, but I still have a piece of it in my hand, and everyone's looking at him. There's glass everywhere, just heads turned. This is hilarious. This is a great funny clip of the week, and we're gonna be posting it up on Wednesday on our Facebook page. So head on over there if you want to check it out, which I fucking highly suggest because this is hilarious.
Hell yeah!
He gives it like the shoulder almost. I think did he trip or something? He just threw his weight into the door.
I feel like he slid into it, like he was just running and he slid through the fucking door almost.
You know what? I noticed the door is closing, and it's closing from the opposite direction. Did he like force it? The wrong way?
So the hinge went through it, maybe.
That might have been it.
It kind of just forced it to... Oh, God.
Because the door is, like, closing from the same way he's coming, and then he tries to push it inward, so it might have just smashed because of that. Let us know what you think. When we post it on the Facebook group, please comment. Let us know. The science behind these exploding glass doors. That'd be terrible. I don't want that happening to me.
Don't let this happen to you, people. Be careful.
Well, now we're getting into some talk about technology.
Technology.
Starting off, we're talking about Bitcoin, and it's hit a mile marker. It is over 10,000 for its evaluation for the very first time. It started from 6 cents about 7 years ago, and then less than 1,000 at the start of this year. So it really exploded over the last year. Went from an evaluation of about $1,000 per Bitcoin, I guess, to just over 10,000 as of the 29th, I want to say.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of stories of people flipping it, to make some profit. And it's crazy. I just don't know if it'll stick around as a currency, or an alternative to a currency, rather.
They say that even if it gets a small, bit of a percentage of that, the entire financial market, that it'll still have, trillions of dollars.
Oh, yes.
So it'd be like if you created some sort of currency besides the dollar, and you wanted to use it within your town, and the entire town started to use it, and you became a millionaire because of that. That's kind of the equivalency here. I just thought it was worth touching on because it's interesting to see these cryptocurrencies or these alternative currencies going on, and the fact that there's so much money being poured into them. I have a couple of friends that I went to college with that own Price, and one of them, he constantly is saying what the price of Bitcoin is, what the price of Bitcoin is. So I still don't quite understand myself how to get the Bitcoin wallet and then go in and actually mine it or buy the Bitcoin. But it's interesting to watch the rise of this currency.
Yeah, and places are starting to take it all over. I've been in multiple cities that actually little stores were taking Bitcoin.
Oh wow.
I was like, whoa. That's where I was starting to notice it. I'm like, okay, this shit is taking off.
Yeah, it's at $10,468 as of right now, as of this recording. So,
well,
and it started out with 6,000 or 6 cents originally, and then $1,000 earlier this year. So if you put in $1,000, you just made $9,000.
Yeah. Talk about fucking turning profit easily in a short time. That's crazy. Well, moving along, we're going to touch on Elon Musk in our next story. And this month, Elon has released 2 very interesting additions to Tesla Motorsports. First off, he introduced the semi-truck, which is fucking awesome. It's the first electric semi-truck, and there's going to be 2 models. One can do 300 miles, and another one can do 500 miles. And this is fully loaded with an 80,000-pound load. And he hinted and kind of alluded at, without a load, you can get much more than 500 miles out of the semi.
They look really futuristic. They look almost like they're made out of lead.
Yeah, they're really cool. They said the design was influenced by a bullet. And I really think it's streamlined. It's awesome. The driver sits in the middle of the actual vehicle. There's a couple seats behind him. I'm not sure if they're going to adapt that to customizing. You know, drivers tend to have sleeping quarters, so I don't know what they're going to do about that. But the prototypes they showed, it was beautiful. There was multiple LCD screens right in front of you. It has a auto driving technology. This thing can do 0 to 60 unloaded in like 4.5 seconds. That's insane.
That's very impressive.
Along with this release, they've said they're planning to build mega chargers all over the country, which can deliver a 400-mile charge in less than 30 minutes.
Okay.
So that'll network these electric cars all over a lot. You know, it entices people to actually get them.
And companies too, because if you're thinking like, oh, you know, we have a shipping company and it costs X amount to fuel the cars per year, and then it costs X amount to switch over the fleet and like sell the old ones off. It could be worth it in like a course of 4 to like 7 years or something like that, depending on what you got going on.
Yeah, that's exactly the idea behind it. The price tag's pretty steep. The one that can do 500 miles will actually cost around $180,000, which is double what a nice semi would cost you. So it's definitely an investment, but when you're talking about the charging being significantly cheaper than fuel, it will pay itself off within the decade for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And they look really nice. And I'm sure there's some part of that self-driving.
That's one of the it has enhanced autopilot, lane keeping technology, which is really nice. The design makes jackknifing impossible, another really cool feature for drivers that are in tight corners.
Wow.
The front windshield, thermonuclear explosion proof glass, so you don't have to worry about any crazy shit, a deer comes flying up your hood and coming through the window, or
damn,
you know, whatever.
They must have got a discount on some sort of glass.
Right.
Really good deal.
Yeah, it's crazy. It seems that this is going to be the future, and I can't wait to see this out there. And the other thing they released is the new Roadster, and this thing looks fucking crazy. It does 0 to 60 in 2.5. It has a 600-mile range, which is fucking crazy for an e-car.
That's really good.
That's insane. That's the number like I feel like it needs to get to where I can start to consider to drive one if there's chargers everywhere. Anyway,
yeah.
I want to be able to make a good drive without having to stop and charge. That's.
Well, I was gonna say I don't mind stopping when I'm on like longer trips anyway. If it gave me a reason to do it.
What if it takes you 3 hours and you're like, all right, nowhere
stop, like,
we want to be?
Yeah,
like you got to stop for 3 hours, you know.
Get some coffee. It wouldn't take 3 hours to charge. It would probably take like a half hour.
Well, yeah, this one, but I mean like older cars, you know. That's what I'm meaning by 3 hours. It's like if you had like a fully electric car, even the Tesla like S's, they probably take a couple hours to charge.
Really?
Man.
I thought they had pretty quick charging.
No.
You can always go to, at least out here in California, they have a lot of charging things at a mall. So you could always go to a mall, plug it in, go get yourself a smoothie, fucking walk around, take it easy.
So here's the deal: it takes 9.5 hours to charge a Tesla that does 300 mile. So just to give you an idea, that's what I'm talking about. That's why it's not practical for me.
Well, I guess if you're going to drive that far, you could always fly too. That's probably what a lot of Tesla owners end up doing.
Yeah, but these mega chargers, that's what they need to get out there.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really excited about that. This car, 260 miles per hour plus. So if you're in the mood for having an electric car that still kicks ass, this might be for you.
It's sporty looking too.
It's awesome, yeah. But Tesla's still keeping at it, producing amazing things.
Absolutely. And we're keeping with Elon Musk into our next story here. Now, Matt, I don't know if you're aware of this, but Elon is pretty much looked at as a hero in Australia, at least from what I gather from this one article I read.
I was not aware. I didn't know Australia thought so highly of Elon.
Yeah, well, there was a big storm that like had 80,000 lightning strikes across South Australia, and it led to 2 tornadoes and knocked down dozens of electricity poles and like utilities and stuff like that. And it left the entire state of 1.7 million residents into darkness.
Oh, fuck. Okay, that's a big deal.
Yeah, so most people had their power restored within 24 hours, but a lot of cases were like a lot longer before they got power back.
Okay, so Elon comes in. How's he give him the juice?
Well, they said that the Prime Minister somewhat predictably tried to blame the state for the recent turn towards renewable energy. Partially in response, the head of Tesla's power division, Lyndon Rive, claimed the company could build a 100 to 300 megawatt of batteries in 100 days and solve Australia's power problem in like one fell swoop within 100 days. That was their claim. So then an Australian billionaire by the name of Mike Cannon Brooks took to Twitter and was like, holy fuck. That was one of his tweets and it had like the link to it. And then he said like, at Lyndon and at Elon Musk, are you serious about this bet? If I can make the money happen and politics, can you guarantee 100 megawatt in 100 days? And Elon said in a tweet, Tesla will get the system installed and working in 100 days from contract signature, or it's free. That serious enough for you? So it's like, I'll do it within 100 days, or it's free.
Or it's free. That's a fucking statement to stand by. Alright.
So
what a man.
They ended up doing it, and they did it with time to spare, with about 40 days to spare.
Damn, 60 days. They banged it out.
Yep.
That's
and they ended up finishing the battery bank at Musk's $50 million. The rough cost of the project is safe. He doesn't have to give it to him for free, luckily. And this all comes from a Vox article. I'll post this one up because I think it's pretty interesting.
Well, our next story is very interesting as well, and it's very serious. Quite frankly, I think it's one of the most serious stories we've had in tech. And I'm just gonna. We have this article from the spaceacademy.org, and it's a huge step in science. Up until now, NASA has never paid too much attention to Uranus. But now, the space agency wants to take a good long look. And one of the things it might be investigating is all that gas. A NASA group has outlined 4 possible missions to the ice giants Uranus and Neptune. And these missions are set to take off in the 2030s, so quite a bit in the future. But the hope is that they're going to find out the scientific values of researching these planets and really figure out their solar system, their rings, their magnetosphere. So
the rings around Uranus.
The rings around Uranus. I mean, it's something to really look into.
The rings, the gas.
Yeah,
a distant, often unvisited place, you know.
Now, I'd imagine they're measuring the gas and they're seeing what elements are present.
Probably a lot of methane, if I had to guess.
A lot of methane in Uranus. That's fair to assume. So yeah, we'll see what goes on. It's not sure if this is actually going to get passed, but it looks like Uranus needs to get probed a little more, find out what the hell is going on.
Oh man, that's a lot of Uranus talk.
Yeah. It's going to take multiple flybys of Uranus just to really get an idea.
Yeah, I hope they find out a lot about Uranus. I hope they dive deep in and they get the funding necessary to investigate Uranus.
They'll be equipped with a narrow angle camera too, so they can really get into all the crevices of Uranus.
You know, they say when you're about 50, you should really get that procedure done. So it's about time for Uranus to get.
Yeah, I'd say it's long overdue.
Long overdue. We need scientists and the right people to get in there. Damn, they need to change the name of that planet.
Oh, I know.
So we're going from Uranus to the bathroom. We're talking about streaming in the bathroom, people.
Nice.
And you don't want to cross them. Because this is basically a survey by SurveyMonkey that included 1,600 Americans balanced by gender and age, asking about their Netflix viewing habits and where they did it in public places, not just at their home. So it found that 2/3 of Americans stream movies and TVs in public places.
Huh. Yeah, that makes sense.
At the top of that list is the plane and bus with 44 and 40%. Or, well, yeah, 44 and 40%. These don't add up. They're not percentages. I think these are just like numbers of how many people were on it. So yeah, 44 people said the plane and bus. 37 people said work. 31% of people. 31 people said on the train. So a lot of this is like commuting and like traveling, streaming. But a small portion of this said public restrooms. So this isn't at your house set up where you're like, oh, I'm in the middle of this movie and like something's brewing. Let me go bring the iPad into the bathroom and set it up on the toilet paper roll. This is people like at work being like, oh, let me get in 15 minutes of fucking Trailer Park Boys before I have to go back and start doing my shit, my like work stuff.
I just gotta say, if you're streaming in the bathroom, use headphones, people. Nobody needs to imagine you sitting there catching up on Game of Thrones while you're dropping a deuce at Starbucks.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even think of the head, but you gotta come prepared. That's a premeditated offense right there.
It really is.
They also asked people what happens when you watch movies in public. And a bunch of people said, they caught someone snooping.
What are you watching?
And looking at what they were watching. Oh, I am so guilty of that. Fucking on the way home on the plane, I had like the window seat, and there was a little Asian kid next to me, probably about 5 or 6. And he was watching some little kids movie. He was watching a Lego movie at some point and another movie throughout the flight. And when I was on commercials on my stuff, I started watching his stuff. But I have this tactic when I'm on the plane that I'll put my aviators on so people can't see if I'm like asleep or like fucking awake. And I was watching his screen with my aviators on.
People are like, "Is this guy an air marshal?"
And he looked up at me. He looked up at me and fucking. I just gave him the side eye, sort of like, "What are you gonna do about it?"
Yeah,
I'm watching your fucking screen, kid. You're gonna get your dad.
Turn it
Is this
and see
gonna
what
be
happens.
an issue? Like, we can't do anything about this. We're 30,000 feet in the air. Are you really gonna make this an issue? And I bumped his arm off the armrest, and I took both of them. I was like, I know I have the window. I'm
Don't
taking the
incriminate
outer
yourself.
fucking armrest
this
too.
This is
because
close
you're
to
small.
child abuse.
He's small, and fucking like that's the beauty of flying alone and like having a small child next to you. You can bully your way onto that armrest.
You think you got a piece of this? No. You got little arms. You don't need to rest them.
So, back to our poll. Some people even said they cried in public while watching a like program on Netflix.
Yeah.
Like you're on the train, you're watching it, and like something really bad happens in your series. Your favorite character dies, and you start openly weeping.
Don't
in
watch your
public on the
favorite
train.
series. Like watch some shit that doesn't matter. Like watch a Nat Geo special. Like watch something that's mindless. You need to be paying attention to your surroundings anyway. What if some shit?
Oh,
happens?
and that's another thing. A decent amount of people said they missed their stop as well.
Yeah. For what? Just to watch a couple minutes and it cost you fucking half an hour.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
That would really fucking suck.
They're like, well, I'll get to binge watch 2 more episodes.
So right. So that's some of the numbers on American streaming habits in public.
Yeah. Our next story is a little bit of organic streaming, I'll call it. It's a neat idea that spawned in Shan's Park, which is in Beijing. I butchered that name. My bad. I do it every time.
I was like, where's this from?
Yeah, that's why I just cut it to the Beijing. Apparently there was a road that was abandoned a couple years back because a coal mine shut down, so there was really no reason to use it. But it's a good by road, and they're trying to encourage people to use it to cut down on road rage. So their idea is they've grooved the road so that when you're cruising down it, it plays a tune.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've seen these used on different highways and stuff.
Yeah, I had never heard about this. I thought this was really interesting, and I did look into it. There's actually one by you.
In California.
Well, not by
right?
you. I always say by you because in California it's fucking huge. It's in Southern California.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
Lancaster, California.
Okay.
There's one on Route 66 in New Mexico too. That's really cool. It plays "America
That's
the
the
Beautiful."
one I was thinking of.
Yeah.
And you have to do the right speed.
It depends.
I believe
They'll be
that one
marked.
was encouraged to get people to do the speed limit.
Yeah, they'll be marked right before you enter the zone. This one in Beijing is 35 to 40 kilometers an hour, and it'll play "Ode to the Motherland," which is a patriotic anthem.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. It's a pretty neat idea, and hopefully, it works out and encourages people to go this route. There's some shops there that want to benefit from more business, so the locals were all about it.
We're here for the fucking musical road, man.
Oh yeah, let's get more musical roads. I want to see this. It's fucking sick.
That'd be awesome. I would really like that. I feel like it's got to be kind of bad on the tires though, because it's little, vibrations.
Yeah, it's different groove, depths, spread out in different ways, and it's crazy. Yeah, it's definitely gonna shred your shit.
The people that engineer those things, it's interesting. It reminds me of sort of the piano things that would play automatically.
Yeah,
where it would have
the
the little divots out of it.
Yeah, the little pins that play like a little keyboard style metal thing. Yeah, xylophone, whatever. Yeah,
it's interesting. It'd be cool if there was more of those around.
Yeah, it's definitely awesome. The weird shit we do, man.
So yeah, that's our technology news for this episode. I'm surprised that one didn't make it onto our next segment, which is Wheel of Weird.
Ooh,
That's really fucking weird.
Because we got some really weird and interesting things here. And the way this works, we have a person, place, and thing. And we spin a little fidget spinner.
You're telling them the secret spinner? Oh.
It's a batarang fidget spinner.
He's telling them all the deets. It has a guitar pick on one end to tell us which one it is.
That's our low tech spinner for choosing here. But we have a person, place, and thing. Matt's gonna spin. Tell me what it lands on, and while he's spinning, I'm gonna tell you what our person, place, and thing are. For person, we have David Hahn, the radioactive Boy Scout. For place, we have, talk about butchering names, Matt, Spurhofstraub, which is a very narrow street.
I stand behind that pronunciation.
And then we have the thing, which is the miracle of 1511, in which some snowmen were used in a unsavory way. So what do we end up landing on?
We are on option 3. We got thing.
So that'd be thing.
Thing.
Oh, we're talking the miracle of 1511.
Oh, shit. From what you lightly described to me, this is very interesting to say the least.
Yeah, this was a protest that happened in Brussels back in the year 1511, in which locals built approximately 110 satirical and pornographic snowmen. This was done as a protest to the current party leading at the time, and because of 6 weeks of cold weather and combined mass population growth and large wealth discrepancies between peasants and the ruling House of Hesburg, the locals decided to use snowmen as a form of protest. They built, for some examples, snowmen including a snow nun seducing a man, a snow man and snow woman having snow sex in front of the town fountain. And there was also snow unicorns, snow mermaids, a snow dentist, snow prostitutes enticing people into the city's red light district.
Oh my god.
I've seen a lot of very interesting snowmen in my life, but this sounds quite magical.
People have always been mischievous. I love it. People have been pranking people for years. It's fucking awesome.
Oh, hell
1511. Snowmen with their dicks out.
Some inappropriate snowmen fucking storm your town as a form of protest.
Oh man, that's fucking awesome. I just can't believe the date on it though. That's what makes it so great to me.
Yeah, the fact that they did that back then, it's cool, and the fact that it was documented up to the point where we can now talk about it on American Science.
Yeah. It makes me want to.
So go out there and build some inappropriate snowmen this fucking holiday season.
Hell yeah! Instead of putting that carrot north, put it to the south.
And make it in protest of the family gathering. Make everyone upset.
What did Billy do?
He's making snow dicks in the front yard.
Oh, man. Well, I think that wraps it up. It's about time to step into Plug City. Let's warm up. Ooh, it's nice and warm in here. Why don't you step into the Facebook room? Check out American Slackers group and chime in. Put up whatever you want. We've been having fucking some crazy shit going on. All kinds of people putting on random shit. It's making me laugh. I love it. I'm enjoying it.
I'm enjoying it.
Don't forget to stop by the Instagram where you can find the promos for every show and some other cool shit. Search American Slacker Podcast, you'll find us there. Also, search AmericanSlackerPodcast.com. You'll find our main hub. Anything and everything to do with the show will be there. If you want to send us an email, AmericanSlackerPodcast@gmail.com. And don't forget to check out our Spotify, where we have every artist that's featured on American Slacker. Search American Slacker Podcast. You'll find us that way, too.
You can also find us over on Twitter and Reddit at AMERSLKR Podcast because of character limits. That's Amer Slacker Podcast. Please rate and review the show on iTunes and tell a friend. Subscribe to us on YouTube. That's another big one. We realized we don't have much of a following on YouTube, so if you could subscribe to us there, that would be awesome. You can also become a Patreon sponsor of the show, just like the awesome people we gave a shout out to up top. We're going to be putting more rewards out there. We're always uploading content. There's a bunch of Patreon only audio up there for you guys right now if you donate just $1 or more per month, and we would love you forever. I think that's it. That's it on my part right there.
Well, don't forget to check out our personal shit. Catch me on Instagram at MWG Media and on Snapchat and Xbox Live at Matty G from HP.
And you can find me on all of those at Landers the Plane.
Aw, yeah. Stay warm, people. We love every fucking one of you. And until next time, that's it.
There you go.